black holes gleaming with unknown alloys, gravitic drives far beyond galactic norms, rail cannons and particle lances that could punch holes in battle cruisers at half the usual range, all witnessed, broadcasted, and burned into every node of the Senate's information web. The galaxy had seen. Dorian watched the Marshal sneer. This will bring sanctions, retaliation. You risk war with the core worlds. And now he smiled. Just a thin line. Then you'd best be careful which fleets you send, because the ones you know about aren't the only ones we've built. The room exploded in shouting. He muted the audio. Behind him, the heavy door hissed open. Commander Trent stepped in. Scarred, square-jawed, a man who'd bled in too many cold space battles. They're losing their minds, Trent said dryly. Heard Senate channels lit up from Jupiter to Riel. They thought we'd be 100 years behind, not 20 ahead. Dorian nodded. His gaze drifted to the star map hovering over the command days, an array of hostile territories marked in crimson. They made us desperate, he said quietly. Now they'll see what desperation builds. He turned to Trent. Ready? The fleet. Full combat readiness. No more shadows. Trent grinned. All teeth. Finally. The alarms began to sound across the vigilant dawn, and a dozen hidden human fleets. Black warships stirred, drives warmed, weapons primed. In every alien capital, panic began to spread. Because somewhere out there, humanity had built ships that shouldn't exist. And now they were coming. The black warships of Earth moved in silence. From behind asteroid belts and gas giants, from the shadowed moons of forgotten systems, they emerged. Sleek, angular things of matte obsidian and hardened tungsten, no garish banners, no ceremonial markings, just raw, brutal machines built for one purpose, to make the rest of the galaxy bleed. Captain Dorian Hale stood in the observation bay of the vigilant dawn, watching the fleet form up in the void. It was one thing to design these ships in secret, one thing to test them in hidden skirmishes or deep space drills, but now they were exposed. The galaxy knew they existed, and soon the galaxy would feel what they could do. Commander Trent approached, datapad in hand. Tactical brief, sir. Go. We have 5 battle groups fully deployed. Dawn, Revenant, Eclipse, Wraith, and Ghost Wings. 42 capital-class hulls. 110 support craft. Cloaks holding drives ready for long jump, and response from the core. Trent's lip curled in distaste. Mass mobilization. Senate's ordered 3 primary fleets toward the Kepler expanse. 4th Kylan Armada, 9th Drexian Shield, and the Vashan War Priests. Heavy ships, numbers 5-1 against us. Dorian absorbed this. He'd expected worse. The Core's arrogance worked in their favor. They still didn't believe humans could fight a real war. Not yet. They're coming to make an example of us, Trent said grimly. Think they can cow us with a show of force. Dorian's eyes narrowed. They'll learn. In the grand spire of the Galactic Senate, panic had begun to turn to conspiracy. Ambassadors shouted in a dozen voices. New intelligence reports flashed across the central hollow table. Unconfirmed sightings of strange human ships near old ruins near ancient derelicts once thought inert. Theories and fear-mongering spiraled. They must have stolen precursors tech. There is no other explanation, one admiral shrieked. They're bluffing, another said, voice brittle. Primitive creatures. A desperate show. We crush them now, or they infect the balance of power. The Supreme, Marshal, face stone cold, spoke above the noise. It no longer matters how they built them. The fact is, they have them. He slammed his clawed fist on the table. Send the fleets. Total engagement authorization. Some senators palled. The more intelligent ones knew. Attacking now was no longer a mere police action. It was war. And wars once started rarely obeyed the tidy limits of law. On the vigilant dawn, Dorian stood before his senior officers. "All right," he said, voice hard. "They're coming. You know what this means. This is no longer cloak and dagger. This is no longer preparation. This is war." He let that sink in. Around the table, hardened faces, men and women who'd seen too much already nodded. Our fleets are outnumbered, outgunned on paper, but papers never won a war. He keyed the tactical display. We have 3 advantages they cannot counter. 1. Our drives. Our gravitic skip drives can reposition within combat space. They expect lumbering battleship duels. We'll dance around them. 2. Our weapons. Our rail. And lance arrays can breach their shields. Core fleets haven't fought that kind of tech. And 3. Our mindset. He leaned forward. They're used to ritual war, honor duels, set-piece battles. We fight to win. There is no honor in losing, no shame in outthinking your enemy. He looked each officer in the eye. You do what it takes. You kill what you must. You make them bleed until they rethink ever underestimating us again. Trent gave a grim smile. Permission to open preemptive strikes. Dorian's smile was colder. Granted. Hours later, the first clash began. At the edges of the Kepler expanse, a Drexian shield squadron arrived, a vanguard force of 12 cruisers and escorts. They came in broadcasting demands. Stand down. Disarm. Submit to core authority. Dorian sent no reply. Instead, Vigilant Dawn and 3 Wraith-class stealth frigates decloaked in perfect formation. Point blank. Before the Drexians could so much as raise shields, railguns fired. Hypervelocity, tungsten slugs tore through alloy and flesh alike. The lead Drexian flagship disintegrated in a single pass, its crew barely having time to scream. The survivors tried to retreat. Too late. Cloaked human corvettes had already flanked them, firing gravitic torpedoes that shattered holes and ripped drive cores apart. In 20 minutes, the Drexian squadron was gone. Not damaged, not repulsed, erased, and the battle was broadcast intentionally across unfiltered channels. In the Senate, Spire, the news hit like a fist to the gut. Impossible. They slaughtered them. 12 warships lost without a reply volley. The Supreme Marshal's face went pale beneath his scaled skin. For the first time in decades, true fear entered his gaze. These are not the humans we knew. Back aboard Vigilant Dawn, Dorian reviewed the after-action reports with cold precision. "No survivors?" Trent asked. "None," Dorian confirmed. "Their comms got the broadcast. Every core world now knows we fight on a new level." Trent gave a dark chuckle. Bet that rattled their precious admirals. Dorian's gaze darkened. "They'll send more, bigger fleets, better prepared." Trent straightened. "Then we bleed those too." Dorian's jaw tightened. "Yes, but not yet." He turned to the star map. Next phase. Asymmetric strikes. We hit their logistics, their fuel lines, their shipyards. No direct fleet engagements unless we choose the ground. Trent's eyes gleamed. Guerrilla. War on a galactic scale. Exactly. Dorian's voice was ice. We make them fight on our terms. No clean battles. No chance for them to paint us as barbarians in defeat. They either bleed trying to catch us, or they kneel. Trent saluted. "I'll prep the Ghost Wings. Do it." In the dark, scattered corners of human territory, old grudges began to stir. Smugglers, privateers, outlaw captains once forced into the fringes. Now suddenly their tech had meaning again. Human command reached out. Quiet deals made, ancient codes reactivated. And across the fringe sectors, an invisible war began. Sabotaged jump, gates, mysterious pirate raids using weaponry no pirate should have, core world convoys lost without trace, and over all of it, One whispered phrase spread on back channels: the Terran are rising. In the Senate, chaos deepened. Emergency war councils, furious debates, accusations of incompetence, paranoia. Some claimed humans had made deals with dead precursor species. Others feared they'd uncovered ancient weapons buried for eons.